Yo, today I've got a review of the new Trippie Red album, Mansion Music. And I mean, look, strap in for this one, because I've got a lot to say. He showed the tracklist for this album a couple of days before release, and look, I already had some worries. Almost every single song has a feature in it, and you know, it has the regular trap album roster on it, like Lil Baby, Lil Durk, Rilo Rodriguez, and so on. These people that appear on a lot of trap albums, they're pretty much like the go-to. Plus, there's a song called Down in Ohio Part 2. Tell me you're looking for a hit song on TikTok without telling me you're looking for a hit song on TikTok, please. But okay, features aside, the biggest worry for me was the length of this project. 25 songs. 25, yes. 25 songs is very difficult to sit down and listen to all the way through. It can definitely get a bit much. No matter how much you try to switch it up and do different styles on a project, it's still likely that I'm going to get bored simply because it's an absurd amount of tracks. And talking about styles, let's talk a bit about the general sound and genre of this record. It is rage rap, which seems to be the wave right now. A lot of people are jumping on it since Cardi released Whole Lotta Red, and to be honest, I think there's a lot of good contemporaries that spawn from it. Yeet, I think, does a fairly good job, and I think he has a lot of potential. He can definitely do better than he is currently doing. And D-Stray Lonely from the label that Playboy Cardi owns, I think is actually probably my favorite artist aside from Cardi. However, this project is not one of those good projects that come out of this genre. This album is bloated to the brim, not only track-wise, but sound-wise. It sounds like you're drowning in bass and in the 808. There's no break. The 808 goes on and on and on for a whole hour, more than an hour in fact, an hour and 16 minutes I'm pretty sure. There's a lot of the usual melodies you see in rage rap, these synth noises, siren, chamber sounding noises, but when they're 2-second loops, it just doesn't work. It gets annoying and infuriating to listen to. To add to that, drums wise, there is nothing interesting going on. If anything, it's more of the oversaturated stuff that we see on a majority of hip hop releases. On so many tracks here, the hi-hats and the choice of sound for the drums is so similar to what you'd see on a Lil Baby album, for example. I'm personally not a fan at all of that sound, as I think the percussion is overwhelming, and I mean, this album is already overwhelming as it is. Yeah, in terms of the drums, they are oversaturated noisy trap drums which don't fit on rage beats. The melodies are repetitive and not tolerable for that long. The percussion is something for trap beats, while this literally isn't trap. And the 808s, please don't get me started on the 808s, I beg. For the majority of this album, the mixing of the 808s is awful. Already from the first track, Mansion Music, which is legit one of my favorites from the project, I mean, that's not really saying much, you can hear how badly mixed the 808 is. It's way too overblown, and realistically, tell me, would you be able to keep listening to that for 25 songs? No, you wouldn't be. You just wouldn't be. Like, the melodies and the drums, it's just too much. It's simply too much. It's too loud. It's too obnoxious. There isn't even any room to take a breath in the tracklist itself. Let's forget about the individual tracks for a second. Every single song goes for the same vibe, the same thing, and there isn't enough songs here to clean it up. We've had a couple of heavy songs at this point. Let's slow it down. Let's, have a little bit of a palette cleanser, sort of clean up the sound, make it sound a little bit brighter. But that just doesn't happen on here. It just doesn't. The closest thing to that here is the song with Summer's Biggest Bird, which isn't my favorite track in the world, but the melody and the vibe is generally different from the rest of the songs. It's a lot brighter sounding than the rest of the songs, and it gives off a nice contrast, I guess. And we get a moment like this again, yes, for a grand total of twice on the album. That's a massive amount. But that song is literally the last song on the album, so it's a bit late, don't you think? You would think Trippie does something interesting vocally to contrast the lack of creativity production-wise. Well, guess what? He fucking doesn't. If anything, his voice makes it more annoying. He does this thing on a lot of songs where he keeps up one flow, keeps up the same tone of voice, the same pitch, and just stays there and keeps going. I don't know if this is appealing to people. To some people I can see how it would be, but for a few songs, not for 25 songs, not for a full-length album. So as it turns out, Trippie isn't able to handle this by himself and needs help from features, which yeah, there's a lot of. There is not a lack of them, trust me. But let's put aside the sheer amount of features and just look at the quality of the features. Honestly, I don't know what the fuck happened. 80% of these features are phoned in. And was there even a producer in the studio? I am being genuinely serious. The mixing is a whole nother aspect that I can talk about, but let me hold off for a little bit. The features. I mean, I can honestly count on one finger how many features I like. I think Juice WRLD actually does very good on here with the high vocals. It creates contrast from the same pitch Trippie has been going at, although there is the lyric that he has connections like Verizon, which he screams at the top of his lungs. I think that's a bit goofy, but it's fine. The chorus, although I can see getting annoying, which has been a running theme here on this project, Trippie really can't come up with good choruses, I've noticed. On the song, he under-delivers and Juice takes over, but it's not bad. I quite like it. The Lil B feature works, I guess, on swag like Ohio Part 2. I can't believe this actually exists. But that's about it. Features range from decent to just god-awful. And you want me to talk about those god-awful features? Okay, strap in, boys. Let's fucking go. Like, let's take the track Fully Loaded, which is way too repetitive with the chorus, but Trippie's flow is not bad though. It kind of works. But this instrumental with those drums is not it. But the feature, Lil Baby. What is Lil Baby doing on this? Who let this man cook? Stop, turn the stove off, stop this man. I really haven't been impressed with his features lately, and I don't care anymore about his guest verses if I'm being honest. Another feature and song on here, Crazy Train. Holy... First of all, the 808 is way too punchy on this, easily gets annoying. The chorus is awful, as I said, Trippie barely had any solid hooks on this album. Then the song randomly gets louder before the Travis verse, and you think maybe Travis will save this, right? Rockstar, what the fuck? Was there an engineer present in the room? Who went over this? How did this get allowed? How did this get cleared? Who listened to this and thought, yep, this sounds perfectly fine to me? I genuinely don't understand how you can mess up a mix this bad, but somehow Trippie Red has done it. And then the song randomly gets loud again when Trippie comes back in. Like, bro, what is going on in this song? I am so confused. The Nardo Wick feature on the track, Goodfellas, is one of the most unnecessary features on the whole album. The guy's barely rapping over some of my least favorite drums on the whole album. And if you haven't already ripped this to shreds, the little inserts of audio throughout the songs are atrocious. The song Die Die with Lucky, the sample in the chorus is goofy as fuck. And the worst example of these little samples is on Toilet Water with Ski Mask, where they sampled a toilet flushing. Let me see, what else haven't I digged into here? Oh, yeah, the lyrics. Trippie has some awful lines on here, like genuinely terrible. No, we keep it lady like a titty. But yeah, I think that's enough, no? I think I've done enough damage here. Before we get into my favorite songs, please make sure you like and subscribe. For my favorite tracks, I do have a couple. Psycho with Future I think is decent, the structure on that song is interesting, and generally the song is good. It's one of the cleaner songs on the album. Going dumb, going crazy. And Nightcrawler with Juice WRLD. Love Juice's part. Trippie is underwhelming, but Juice does enough to carry this for me. Are you ready to die, kid? Mentioned Music barely has any positives. It features overwhelming and pretentious production, looping melodies that are very annoying, mixing that makes you question if there was even an engineer in the studio, guest verses that are for the most part bad, and awful sequencing that leaves no room to breathe. All this goes on for a whopping 25 tracks and for over an hour. By the time you're done with it, you're so out of it you forget you're listening to an album. I'm gonna have to give this project a light 2 out of 10. But yeah, that's gonna be it for my review. Tell me what you guys thought of the album. If you liked it, tell me why. Please explain to me why. And if you didn't, also tell me why. I'm looking to hear you guys' opinions. I also did a ranking of this album. I ranked every song, so check that out if you want to. And please make sure you like and subscribe. That will mean so much to me, as it'll help push my video and my channel into the YouTube algorithm. But yeah, I guess I'll see you guys next time. Peace.